Right. All right. I am pretty sure we are live, which means things can go a little awry. I'm Tom Fox. I'm the executive director of Saib Salon. I'm here in tropical Indianapolis, Indiana, with my fellow leaders of the fraternity and foundation, Tim Zepp, the executive council president, who happens to be in Mexico right now, and Alex Senchek, the director of the foundation, who happens to be in Florida. But we're here to celebrate the March Challenge and talk about all the great stuff we're able to do because of so many of you generous donors. So I'll hand it off to Tim to talk about why he loves March.
Thanks, Tom, and excited to be here. Also say hello to everyone who's watching this live or maybe watching a replay of this later. But thank you all for joining, and thank you for all that you do for SciU. The March Challenge is a really important event for the fraternity every year. It's an opportunity to celebrate a lot of the things that we have achieved in the past year. Also, it's a reminder of just a little bit of a kind of friendly rivalry between chapters and on the basketball courts, and also just amongst the chapters in the brotherhood as we try to raise money for SciU. Really give back to this organization that we all love, but also do it in a way that we're thinking about kind of the momentum, the growth, and the opportunity to kind of move ahead. Every year we kind of look back and look back at what we've achieved and opportunities to move forward. And there's a lot of exciting things to say, what's been going on in the past year or so. This past fall actually was out in Lafayette, West Lafayette, Indiana, not too far away from where Tom is now at Purdue. We installed our 50th chapter of SciU Salon, the Delta Omicron chapter. So it really exciting. Had a chance to meet a number of brothers there. Really fun event, and congratulations to them on becoming the 50th chapter ever in SciU Salon. And 100 and what are we up to? 193 now. We're coming up on 190 years. So quite a remarkable achievement, and it's an event that doesn't happen all too often, but we certainly love when it happens. We also celebrated the reopening and reactivation of 2 chapters this year at Christopher Newport and at Trinity College. We're very thankful to have those chapters back and have brothers very active on campus there and getting continue the strong traditions that those chapters on their campus have built over the years, and great to have them back as well. And with the March Challenge is an opportunity for folks to kind of spread the news about what's been around SciU. Some of the things I just mentioned. There's a lot of other things that Tom and Alex and we could talk about for a while here, but it's really all about the opportunity to really understand what it is all about, what we do in SciU, why we're on a live stream right now. Even though I'm Alex and I are both kind of on vacation. We're volunteers. We love this. We love being involved in SciU and really because of the impact it has on our lives, because the impact it has on so many of your lives. I'm sure if you're listening to this, important to you, and I think it's an opportunity to reflect and be thankful for that, but also to potentially give back. And this year we're doing that as we have for other March challenges by doing a little bit of friendly competition between chapters to see which chapter can encourage brothers to kind of reach out, respond, give both money, and we'll talk a little bit about this in a minute, but also in lieu of, if you don't really want to give money, opportunity to volunteer your time and volunteer your space to help SciU, to help run an event, etc. for the organization, to help provide more opportunities to our fellow brothers, to really kind of provide enriching experiences. The foundation, for example, has many programs that have been built over the years that have really broadened the scope of what it means to be a member of SciU. It's a lot more than what I think a lot of people who maybe aren't part of fraternities think about when they hear the word fraternity. It's not just a thing you do in college. It's a thing that it's a brotherhood and a friendship that you build with other people for life. It's a network of people and unique individuals and ideas and people of different backgrounds and passions that they can apply, and it kind of it can provide enriching experiences throughout your entire life, and that's certainly been true for me, and I look forward to many more years of doing that. But anyway, I've gone on for a little long here, but anyway, really excited to be here talking about the March Challenge, and thankful for all the opportunities that all the things that we've been doing in SciU, and thank you all for joining.
And like you say, Tim, it's a perfect time of year because, well, March is all about friendly rivalries. And I remember, I believe it was back in 2012. Tim has to understand he's a Duke graduate, so everyone celebrates if they beat Duke in anything. I think it was 2012 when C.J. McCollum was playing for the Mountain Hawks and took Duke out of the tournament.
It's true.
So with that, we will talk to our brother from the Ada at Lehigh, Alex. What's got you excited? It's
wonderful. So I as the spring emerges, one of the things that I have grown to love is the season where we have a lot of programs that are just about to happen, and so the planning process, which I get to be a part of, seeing things come to fruition and start to form is really fun. Tomorrow we will have the last day of our application process for scholarships, and so we've had a remarkable, a really nice, wonderful group of undergraduate and graduate brothers who have filled out applications, gotten their recommendations, and are now going to turn that over to our evaluation committee. And I think the other thing that I really love about the season is, again, this idea that we are headed towards some really wonderful events. We have a Perfect Pint in New York, a great time for people to get together in about 4 weeks. We have a event that we've had for about 5 years in San Francisco, the Venture Summit, which is really geared towards entrepreneurs and technology. And then also, you start to see the reunions and the celebration of achievement around commencements that go on around the country. And there is something that is particularly noble and honorable about this whole ecosystem that we live in that comes alive in the spring, and really it's about supporting people. And so when you think about the fact that we've got 27,000 living alumni, and there are pockets of these alums and brothers who are helping each other in a myriad of ways. Get jobs, launch their company, get investors, line up customers, line up business development opportunities. I think one of the strongest things that has been encouraging since COVID has been that kind of the security, the fortitude of those relationships. In some cases, not very strong, not going back very long, but they're accelerated by the bond that we see and that we all share. And I would just echo Tim and you, Tom, in our commitment to fostering those in any way that we can. We know they happen, and we know that they can be happening more when we put some energy into it, and when we get the right, when we get people to say yes and commit their time, their energy, and also their money, because frankly, none of this happens without us being able to afford to look forward, and meaning that we can plan further ahead because we know we have the funds, when we know we can invest in people and platforms and methods that will have a return in the future. So I just want to say thank you there. I'll also say one of the coolest things that we've done I think that has been kind of a return to a pastime, but our content creators and our History and Archives committee is a tremendous way that with a little bit of energy, not a lot, not a huge time commitment, one can really make a difference. Writing, sharing stories, and publishing them in our publications, because this is a way, and I can tell you countless stories of people who have been not involved for years that receive something in the mail and start beaming about the fact that that one of the articles resonates with them, sometimes from their chapters, sometimes not. And so I would just commend to everybody, getting involved can mean a lot of different things. It's worth it. It's fun. And I've been doing this for a while, as have you guys. But I would just say that nobody does this because of anything but love for the organization. So come join us.
Yeah. And Alex, I love that you brought up history and archives. I'm actually sitting here in our humble library of historical items, but we have so many stories in Sayupsan. And I'm around it a lot because of where I get the privilege of working, but I'm still learning things every day. I was just talking with the current archon of the Beta Beta chapter at Trinity College, and I forgot how we got on the subject of the Academy Awards, but I was able to point out to him, one of your alums from the Beta Beta, Richard Bartholomew, was one of the creators of the Academy, and actually at the first Academy Awards, he was nominated twice for Best Actor. Didn't win, but yeah, we have all these little nuggets of history, and we're still finding them today. And absolutely, history and archives is one of the things that is just so much. We get so much out of it, and it's fun and fulfilling to find these stories, and we're still finding nuggets out there today. And that's one thing I wanted to hit on with the March Challenge and talk about. Well, and we need and appreciate all our donors who are stepping up. The March Challenge is a little bit different than most crowdfunding campaigns because we encourage people to also give their time and volunteer. And there's basically three ways that we're asking people to get more involved. And one of them is, as you mentioned, Alex, to help and be a content creator, writing articles, editing our publications. We need volunteers to do that. And they are, and incredibly talented ones as well. So if you have an idea for a story, or you would like to be more involved with any of our publications, or for that matter, the website or anything we share electronically, go to that March Challenge, and there's a volunteer form, and sign up there. We're also looking for alumni advisors. All our chapters have wonderful alumni groups that are assisting undergrads right now, but all of them would appreciate a little bit more help. So if you would be interested, if you know there's a chapter nearby and you've been looking for an excuse to get involved, let us know. Fill out that form at SciU/March Challenge, because we'll help you do that. We've got, and if you're worried about if you can be an effective advisor, we've got coaching materials to help you out. We have monthly town halls where we connect seasoned advisors with younger ones. So we're all doing the best we can. But I can tell you, our undergraduates appreciate it so much, because we all know one of the biggest things that can make a difference are engaged alumni working with our members. And the third thing we're looking for is also to help those of you that aren't able to be involved with your chapters. We're looking for alums to help host and organize local events in their cities. It could be a networking event. It could be a happy hour. It could be a sports game. Whatever you care about, there's probably other alums that care about it as well. So we're looking for people to help us build more events to engage SciU members. So yes, we're raising funds for the annual fund, and we're making a difference there, but we definitely need that additional support.
Yeah.
And Tom, I would just add to, as I think about all three of those things that you mentioned, I think a lot of people out there who might be listening may have thoughts that I certainly have had at different times of the years, which is like, that sounds interesting, but I don't know. I don't know if I could be an advisor. That sounds interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I can lead, this or organize this. The answer is yes, you can. Like, content creation. Like, I don't know if I have anything interesting to write about. I'm not a writer. I'll take content creation for example. With with the AI tools that are out there today, if you have a kind of an interesting story to tell, you probably could just speak that into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and it'll help you write something that's really compelling and interesting. You might want to proofread to make sure it's accurate, but there's interesting stuff that you could do there, and sometimes just hearing people that we maybe don't know or haven't been connected to SciU for a while, just getting back in the fold and just telling your story. There's so many of you out there that do really compelling things with your in your professional life. You may be connected with brothers in a unique way and get together in different ways and have a story that can be told that might resonate with other people out there. And I think it's really easy to kind of share that. And for organizing an event or being a chapter advisor, honestly, it's as Tom mentioned, there's tools and things that can be used to kind of help build that confidence. But at the end of the day, I think the undergraduates out there who may be listening, I think a lot of them would probably tell you they just want someone who cares and is around and can show up. There were lots of people in my undergraduate experience who never thought of themselves as chapter advisors, but in reality, they were extremely valuable advisors to me when I was an Archon. People just coming back and talking and providing a little bit of real world perspective on things when undergraduates are kind of stuck in the middle of all the drama of the running a chapter and all the different things on campus in addition to the schoolwork that you're doing. It's helpful to have those people around and be able to provide their perspectives. So I think it's great to go ahead.
No, I will say an encouraging statistic is this year. I haven't looked at it recently, but we have seen the most engaged volunteers in various roles than we've ever had before. I think it was in the mid 70s. And the some of them are only engaging for a couple of weeks a year on a various event or project, and some of them are on a committee that meets monthly and depends on on what the availability and interest is. But we've grown the opportunities tremendously over the past couple of years to be involved in ways that are meaningful that are not just meaningful for SciU, but also meaningful for the person and their interest and what they care about. The History and Archives Committee is a great example. It's a really light lift, a couple of meetings a year, and I think there's a research weekend coming up in June that some members will attend in beautiful, tepid Indianapolis at that time. And then we have other folks who are doing content creation on their own time or reviewing scholarship applications. And I just want to say that I think that's been an evolution that we used to not have, just to call attention to the past. It used to be on the board or be loosely affiliated. Yep. And we've really grown, I think, in great ways. It's good to see the number of people who are involved in, say, host committees in a various city. We're just about to start looking at DC in late June, and it's a list of 14 people who all of them, I think except for one, has emailed back saying, "I've got ideas. Let's think about doing it this way or that way." So you're not alone. Certainly, if you raise your hand, you're not alone. And it's one of the coolest things now is being able to say, we've done this for a couple of years. You don't need to be involved if you don't want to be this year. This is not a lifelong sentence. This is not you're not You're not signing up for something that you will never be able to step away from or hand off to somebody else. And I just want to say a tremendous appreciation for the people who do step up into those roles that are actually really critical and take a lot of work. The chapter corporation presidents and many of our and board members who have stepped up and really said that they want to be part of that leadership of the future. But that's not for everybody, and I think we've done I want to commend everyone creating opportunities for people to be involved, but not have to give away their entire personal life for what we do.
And a piece of that that you mentioned is really one of the goals of the March Challenge is to help us raise funds to expand our staff, because we've had a pretty successful year here in 2025-26. We're on pace to have 450 new initiates in Upsilon. And give that some context, last year we were at 391. A large part of that is being able to restart 2 chapters successfully, where both our Beta chapter and Christopher Newport chapter, the Phi New chapter and Christopher Newport, both of them are over 30 members already. And what allowed us to be able to do that is more time with staff with boots on the ground. And what we're really hoping to accomplish this year is to raise enough money so we can hire an additional growth coordinator to help both existing chapters who need some more boots on the ground support, as well as some of our dormant chapters and our expansion opportunities as they arise. We're talking with a number of chapters that are dormant right now that have real interest in returning. The Iota brothers from Kenyon College, the Kai brothers from Cornell. There's momentum and there's a want to restart these chapters. And just like how Purdue's our 50th chapter, we don't know where the next group of students is going to be that says we want to bring Psi Upsilon to our campus. And we want to be as prepared as possible to be able to assist them in doing that. So one of the many reasons why this fundraising, crowdfunding campaign is so important is to help us do that. And I'm knocking on wood.
When you think back through your time, you've seen a lot of restarts in your time. And what's changed? What 2026 restarting a chapter or just even starting a chapter in period, I'll go wherever you want. What does it look like today that is different than say early 2000s when you started?
I don't think I need to tell anyone, but the college experience is definitely changing today, and it's changing rapidly. We need to be, students are able to isolate themselves and still feel fulfilled in a way that I don't believe existed 10 or 20 years ago. So you have to be more present on campus and be more available. I don't want to sound like the old fogey with gray hair, but these darn cell phones just allow people to interact the way we're talking with one another, despite one of us being in another country and you being in Florida and us not being near one another. Students today are able to stay engaged with their friends they grew up with in a way that just wasn't available before, especially when long distance phone calls cost a lot when I was an undergrad. But at the same time, what we're doing as a fraternity to allow those in-person interactions occur, I think it might be more important than it was when I was an undergraduate. Giving people those leadership opportunities, those skills matter, and what we're offering our members matter. And it's something that, quite frankly, colleges and universities appreciate too. There's always, I hear too many times, oh, they want to get rid of Greek life on our campus. That's not true. They They don't want bad behavior, but they love student organizations like us that engage their members and give them a place that feels like home on campus, even when there's not a house involved. Um, so that's a long way of saying it's changed. There's a lot of nuance, but if we're present, if we're showing and doing things actively on campus, they will come. Students want to be a part of organizations like ours.
And I certainly think that, building on Tom, building on what you were saying, now more than ever, I think, undergraduates care about they need to kind of understand the why behind things, and really want to join, understand why they're joining, and what what it is they're signing up for, what they're going to get out of it,
Right.
and just like the broader meaning of all this stuff. And I think in that context, SciU and lifelong friendships and brotherhood in SciU, we have a lot to offer, and I think it's important that we use these opportunities, and yes, we're kind of focusing on growth, but to also reflect a little bit and just make sure that we're that message is cutting through. And I think that's going back a little bit to kind of the ways to get involved and asking for volunteers in addition to kind of asking for funds through this March Challenge. I think one of the biggest ways is that intergenerational network and the connectedness and the ability to build those authentic relationships. And Alex, what you were saying around some of these relationships, especially in the post-COVID world, where though the relationships may not always be decades long, that common bond that we all share as brothers sort of accelerates those relationships and the meaningfulness behind those relationships. And I think that's a very valuable thing to be able to sell, if you will, as we're trying to recruit more members and grow. And so all this kind of ties together, and I think it's a great opportunity again to reflect on why we're here on a Thursday evening and talking about March Challenge. And it's a lot. Yes, there is a lot, some about watching some good basketball here in the coming weeks and having some friendly chapter rivalries, but there's a lot of really important stuff that's going on behind the scenes as well. And so again, just an opportunity to kind of thank everyone for being part of that.
When we talk about lifelong friendships, I did not understand when I was an undergraduate exactly what I was getting into and what that meant. And quite frankly, how hard it is to maintain those friendships over time. And that's one of the things I'm so thankful about being a part of Sci Upsilon, and not just because of my title as executive director. So many of my friends from those years at the University of Illinois, where a lot of us are trying to plan to get together on the first Friday of the NCAA. Tim, I will be taking that day off, March 20th. But we're able to do this. We're able to stay in contact. Even some of the work I do with the Alumni Association in Illinois, it allows me to reconnect with some of my favorite people from when I was an undergraduate. And I take it for granted sometimes when I think back and reflect on it. It takes a lot of time to be able to maintain those friendships. And Sci Upsilon gives us that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But all right,
I think a lot about the inspiration rather than nostalgia as being really important. And nostalgia is very important, but it's that because it's where we came from. It's what formed us, right? And so getting back together with folks that we know and that knew us in those formative years, and being with younger generations or for being with other people who bring out those memories of what formed us is very important, and leads us to what I think of that next level, which is inspiring us to do better. Whether it be personal achievement going skiing with a group of people and really, being inspired to go skiing when it would be easier to just stay at home, or being inspired to try something new with friends, or being inspired by SciU to get involved and pay it back in a different way than you never thought you would before. And I think that inspiration of going beyond your shell is something that we do inherently as a undergraduate experience. That is who we are. We inspire, and I think we are always trying to create that opportunity for inspiration in the kind of engagement opportunities we give folks to learn more about something they didn't know before, to break out of their shell, right? It's another outlet that one can go to and be and sort of find the next version of themselves. And so for anybody who is on the fence about it, we have always said, I think back to, harken back to the first days, it's what you put in is what you get out. And so in my last few minutes before I have to go, return to parental duties, that doesn't end. It doesn't end. And, I still think that there's a lot we can be doing to make the world a better place through this organization.
Yep.
Well said.
All right. So I think as we're closing out here, we have one last plea. Please, please, please go to that link at the bottom, sciu.org/March Challenge. Make a gift, volunteer your time, or do both, and then take advantage of some of those lifelong friendships and reach out to some brothers from your era and encourage them to do the same. Let's see who comes out on top and is the winner overall. Last year, the Gamma Tau was in first place, followed by the Omicron, and then I believe the Eta. The Phi Delta actually had third, and I believe then the Eta. This year, let's see it mix up a little bit. And I do want to announce as we're closing up, we will have alums who are matching gifts throughout this challenge, which ends on Monday. And right now, Jim Plattner from the Phi Delta chapter, he's a vice president of the executive council. He's also in another tropic location, somewhere between Peru and Panama. Again, not that I'm jealous at all of anyone. Again, being in tropical Indianapolis, but he's donating. He's making a match for every person who signs up to volunteer, $25 towards your chapter total. So you get on the board and you count towards your chapter total. So that we're announcing that on social media moments after I'm done here.
Awesome.
All right. Well, hey, thank you both for being here. No one can see it, but behind the scenes, pushing all the buttons and actually making sure this happens is Jonathan Chaffin, like always, holding things up. Big snaps, Jonathan. Thank you for being there. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Alex. All you do for the fraternity. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Yep.